Hello friends, welcome to EPG Pathshala. I am Dr. Manish Shrestha, working as Assistant Professor at Haryana School of Business, GJ University of Science and Technology, Hisar. Today, we are going to discuss about the topic Wages and Salaries Administration. Before starting the discussion, let's have a look at the contents. The discussion will start with the introduction of the topic, followed by meaning of wages and salaries, methods of remuneration, labor incentive plans, factor determining and affecting wages and salary structure in the organization. The discussion will end with a summary. By the end of this module, students will be able to understand the concept of wages and salaries, identify various incentive plans, know about factors affecting wages and salaries. Work is the expenditure of human time and energy for which they are compensated or remunerated. This compensation is the sole motivator for good performance that helps meeting organizational goals. The compensation paid to employees could be in various forms, mainly in the form of wages or salaries. Wage is the remuneration paid to the labor that is part of production process of the organization. It may be based on the number of hours worked, that is time rate, or number of units produced, that is piece rate. On the other hand, salary is the periodical payment made to clerical, administrative, or professional employees which are contributing to the production and can seldom be measured. Wage and salary administration means defining sound policies and practices for employer compensation. This administration is important to create a harmonious relationship between employees along with management and friendly cost structure. A sound wage and salary administration system helps in employee retention rates, contented employees, improve employee productivity, and facilitates budgeting and control objectives of wage and salary administration. To hire competent individuals, to retain employees, to maintain internal and external equity, to ensure ethical environment, to stabilize labor and administrative employees along with the employee satisfaction, and finally to avoid collective bargaining situations and to ensure organizational viability. Methods of remunerating labor. People working in the organization perform different tasks. Some are involved in production and distribution where physical exercise is more, while some are involved in administrative work where mental exercise is more. Therefore, one remuneration plan will not suit to all type of person working in the organization. Laborers are directly involved in the production. The two basic methods of labor remuneration are time rate system and piece rate system. Time rate system. One of the oldest methods of wage payment is time rate system, in which time spent by the worker is the basis of wage determination. Under this method, workers are paid according to the time for which they work in the organization, irrespective of the output of work done. For example, if wage rate of rupees 10 per hour is fixed in an organization and two workers A and B attend work for 10 and 8 hours respectively, the wage for the day as per time wage system will be rupees 100 and 80 for A and B respectively. In this system, no consideration is given to the quantity or quality of work done by the worker. The factory supervisor has to ensure that there is no wastage of time on the part of worker and the quality of goods is also maintained. Under this method, wages are calculated with a formula total wages equal to T into R to the power S. T stands for time spent and RS is standard rate of pay. The suitability of this system is for the organization in which productivity of an employee cannot be measured accurately. Quality of product is more important than the quantity of the product produced. Individual employees do not have any control over units produced. Close supervision of work is possible, and work delays are frequent and beyond the control of workers. There are certain advantages of time rate system. The first one is simplicity. This method of wage payment is very simple. The workers can easily calculate the wages earned by them. The time spent by a person multiplied by the standard rate will determine his or her wages. Security. Another benefit of this method is that the workers have guarantee of getting minimum wages for the time spent by them, as there is no link between wages and output. They are not bound to complete particular tasks for getting their wages. They are sure to get certain wages at the end of a specified period of time spent in working. Qualitative products. One of the greatest benefits of time rate system is that it helps in improvement of the quality of output. If wages are related to output, then workers may think of increasing production so as to increase their earnings without bothering about quality of goods. In this method, workers will concentrate on producing better quality of goods because their wages is directly related to the time and not the output. In organizations where some artistic nature products are produced, this method will be most suitable. Another benefit is the support of union, because it does not distinguish between workers on the basis of their performance. Any method which gives different wage rates or wages based on output is generally opposed by trade unions. This wage rate system is good for the beginners because they may not be able to reach particular level of production on entering employment. Also, as the wages are not related to the output, workers will not be in a hurry to put through the production. This will lead to proper handling of materials and equipments and hence less wastage of organizational resources. Despite of several benefits, time wage system of payment to workers suffers from certain drawbacks. These are: no incentive for efficiency. It is one of the major limitations of this method that it does not distinguish between efficient and inefficient workers. The payment of wages is related to time and not to the output. Thus, the method gives no incentive for more production by the efficient worker. Moreover, the rate fixed under this method is quite low as it is based on the output of dullest employee. Another disadvantage is the wastage of time. As the wages are related to the time, workers may waste their time because they will not be following a target of production. Competent workers may also follow slow workers because there is no difference between them regarding wage determination. Low production. Since wages are not related to output, production in the organization is low. Because of low production, total cost per unit will go up, leading to higher total production cost and lower profit margin to the organization. Also, as wages are not related to output under this method, management finds it difficult to calculate labor cost per unit. The output will go on varying from time to time while wages will remain almost same. Management finds it difficult to plan production and control it as there are no relationship between wages and output. The last one is, under this system, workers are not offered incentives for higher production. To get more work from them, there is always need for greater supervision. More supervision is also required to maintain proper quality of goods. Therefore, in this wage system, supervision costs go up to a great extent. Piece rate system. Under piece rate system of payment, wages are based on output and not on time. There is no consideration for time taken in completing a task. A fixed rate is paid for each unit produced, job completed and operation performed. Workers are not guaranteed minimum wages under this system of wage payment. A standard rate is fixed per unit of production and wages are calculated by multiplying the units produced by the worker with the standard rate per unit. The formula for calculating total wages is wages equals to rate per unit multiplied by number of units produced. There are certain conditions in which piece rate system is suitable. These are: production quantity is more important than the quality of the product. Work is of repetitive nature. Mass manufacturing system of production is followed and the work is standardized and suitable for continuous manufacturing. It is possible to measure the production output of workers separately. Strict supervision is not required and difficult. There are certain advantages of piece rate system. The first one is wages linked to efforts. One of the biggest advantage of piece rate system is that wages are linked to the output of a worker. The higher the output, higher will be the wages. Workers will always try to put in more and more effort for increasing output because their wages will go up. Total production of the organization goes up when wages are paid according to piece rate system. Workers are encouraged to increase output because their wages are directly related to the output. This system is fair to both employees and employers. Efficient workers will try to use maximum effort in order to raise their production and hence wages. The machines and other equipments are used to the maximum extent if piece rate system is followed. Workers may not like to keep the machines idle. The use of machines is also systematic because any breakdown in these may affect the workers adversely. Thus, better utilization of machine gives better output to the organization. Another advantage of this method is that it differentiates between efficient and inefficient worker. Efficient workers will get more wages as compared to inefficient workers as the output produced by them are more. This method thus provides sufficient encouragement to efficient worker. Another advantage of piece rate system is less supervision is required. Since the wages are on the basis of output, workers will not waste time. They will continue to work irrespective of supervision. There are more and more voluntary efforts on the part of workers and need for supervision is reduced to a minimum. Then a decrease in total cost. The increase in output results in reduction of total cost per unit. In total cost, some of the costs are fixed. Increase in production reduces per unit cost, and reduction in cost may benefit both organization and customers. There are few limitations of piece wage system. These are no guarantee or minimum wage. Uncertainty of wages is one of the biggest drawback of this method, as there is a direct relationship between output and wages, and if a worker does not ensure certain production, then wages may also be uncertain. Another limitation is poor quality of goods or products. As there is a direct relationship between output and wages, the workers will bother more about the number of units than the quality of products being produced. It is harmful for health. Again, due to the direct relationship between output and wages, workers may try to work more than their capacity. This may adversely affect their health. They may try to work even when they are not keeping in good health. Cause of dissatisfaction. There is a difference in earning of various workers in the same organization. Some may earn less and others may earn more. That results into dissatisfaction. Incentive plans. The methods discussed so far, time rate system and piece rate system, have their own merits and demerits. Therefore, the organization should attempt to combine the good points of both the systems in their incentive plan. The main purpose of any incentive plan is to induce a worker to work more to earn more. Naturally, producing more in the same period of time should result in higher pay for the worker. Because of greater number of units produced, it should also result in lower cost per unit for fixed factory cost and also for labor cost. There are certain incentive plans which are practiced in various organizations. These are straight piece rate method, flat time rate method, row 1 premium bonus plan, Halsey premium bonus plan, etc. Straight piece rate method. The method rewards employees on the basis of the output produced by them. A fixed rate of wage is paid for each unit produced or number of operations completed or job completed. Total wages payable to a worker is calculated by multiplying the number of units produced by the wage rate. There is generally a guaranteed hourly rate for workers who are unable to attain the standard output in order to pay the minimum day wages. Flat time rate method. Under piece system of payment, wages are based on output and not on time. There is no consideration for time taken in completing a task. A fixed rate is paid for each unit produced, job completed or an operation performed. Workers are not guaranteed minimum wages under this system of wage payment. A standard rate is fixed per unit of production and wages are calculated by multiplying the units produced by the worker and the standard rate per unit. Taylor differential piece rate method. This system of wage payment was introduced by F. W. Taylor. The main features of this incentive plan are: day wages are not guaranteed, that is, it does not assure any minimum amount of wages to workers. A standard time for each job is set after time and motion studies. Two piece rates are set for each job, lower rate and higher rate. The lower piece rate is payable where a worker takes a longer time than the standard time to complete the work. Higher rate is payable when a worker completes the work within the standard time. In other words, lower piece rate is payable to inefficient workers while higher rate is applicable for efficient workers. Halsey Premium Bonus Plan. This plan was introduced by Halsey and is a simple combination of both time and piece rate systems. In this method, a worker is paid a guaranteed base rate and is rewarded when his performance exceeds the standard. A standard time is established in respect of each job or unit. Bonus is paid on the basis of 50% of time saved. The formula is wages equal to hourly rate into time taken plus 50% of time saved into hourly rate. As a result of increase in output, the total cost per unit falls. This is because fixed overhead are distributed over larger volume of output. Thus, the firm finds it possible to reward its workers directly in proportion to the production or output. Row 1 Premium Bonus Plan. Under this method, a standard time is established in respect of each unit or job or process. There is a guaranteed base rate. A bonus is paid to the worker on the basis of time saved, computed as a proportion of the time taken, which the time saved bears to the standard time. The formula is wages equals to hourly rate into time taken plus time saved into time taken multiplied by standard time allowed. Methods of remuneration employees. Every organization wants to motivate its employees. In motivating the employees of an organization, the compensation scheme or the incentives play an important role. The organization generally adopt following remuneration techniques to motivate their employees. The first one is salary. In this type of remuneration plan, organization provides a fixed salary after a certain period of time. The basic advantage of this method is that the sales personnel feel secure about getting certain amount after a month. Salary plus commission. Under this method, the most of the organization pays the certain fixed salary to their sales personnel. In addition to their salary, the employees are paid extra commission on the target achieved by them. The basic advantage of this plan is the surety of remuneration as well as inducing the sales personnel to get extra amount by increasing the sales of the organization. Salary plus commission plus bonus. In this type of remuneration plan, sales personnel are paid a fixed salary after a month. During this period, the organization also pays the commission to them on the total sales made by these sales personnel. If certain sales personnel have achieved some extra sales for the organization, then he or she is paid bonus for those extra sales. Determination of wages and salary structure in an organization is a very complicated task. The management has to make a balance between employees and organizational benefits. If employees' benefits are reduced, it will increase the dissatisfaction among the employees, and if organizational benefits is reduced, it will hamper the growth and survival of the organization. Certain factors should be taken into consideration in determining wage and salary structure of worker. The first factor is labor unions. It is the first and most important factor in determining the wage structure in the organization. The labor unions attempt to influence the wages primarily by affecting the supply of labor in the industry. The unions exert their influence for a higher wage and allowances through collective bargaining with the representatives of the management. If they fail in their attempt, they resort to strike and other methods whereby the supply of labor is restricted. Personal perception of wage. Whether the wage is adequate and equitable depends not only upon the amount that is paid, but also upon the perceptions and the views of the recipients of the wage, even though the wage is above the going wage rate in the community. If it is lower than that of fellow workers deemed inferior, it will be regarded as inequitable in the eyes of the recipients of the wage. Cost of living is another important factor. This approach tends to vary money wage depending upon the variations in the cost of living index following rise or fall in the general price level and consumer price index. It is an essential ingredient of long-term labor contracts unless provisions are made to reopen the wage clause periodically. There are measurement problems both in ascertaining productivity and cost of living. This problem may lead to lack of understanding and unanimity on the part of the management and the workers. Government legislation. The laws passed and the labor policies formed by the government have an important influence on wages and salaries paid by the employees. Wages and salaries can't be fixed below the level prescribed by the government. The laws on minimum wages, hours of work, equal pay for equal work, payment of dearness and other allowances, payment of bonus, etc., have enacted and enforced to bring about a measure of fairness in compensating the working class. Labor unions have often demand of an increase in wages on the basis of that the firm is prosperous and able to pay. However, the fundamental determinants of the wage rate for the individual firm emanate for supply and demand. If the firm is marginal and cannot afford to pay competitive rates, its employees will generally leave it for better paying jobs. However, this adjustment is neither immediate nor perfect because of problems of labor immobility and lack of perfect knowledge of alternatives. Supply and demand. As stated earlier, the wages is a price for the services rendered by a worker or employee. The firm desires these services and it must pay a price that will bring forth the supply, which is controlled by the individual worker or by a group of workers acting together through their unions. The practical result of the operation of this law of supply and demand is the creation of going wage rate. It is not practicable to draw demand and supply curves for each job in the organization, even though theoretically a separate curve exists for each job. But in general, if anything works to decrease the supply of labor, such as restriction by a particular labor union, there will be a tendency to increase the wage. The reverse of each situation is likely to result into a decrease in employees' wage. Another factor is productivity. Increasingly, there is a trend towards gearing wage increases to productivity increases. Productivity is the key factor in the operations of a company. High wages and low cost are possible only when productivity increases appreciably. The above factors exercise a kind of general influence on wage rates. In addition, there are several factors which do affect the individual difference in wage rates. In order to summarize the discussion, every organization wants to motivate its employees. In motivating the employees of an organization, the compensation scheme or the incentives play an important role. The organizations generally adopt different remuneration techniques like salary, salary plus bonus, and salary plus bonus plus commission to motivate their employees. People working in the organization perform different tasks. Some are involved in production and distribution where physical exercise is more, while some are involved in administrative work where mental exercise is more. Therefore, one remuneration plan will not suit to all types of persons working in the organization. The two basic methods of labor remuneration are time rate system and piece rate system. In time rate system, wages are paid according to the time spent by the worker, while in piece rate system, wages are paid according to the units produced by the worker. The main purpose of any incentive plan is to induce a worker to work more to earn more. Naturally, producing more in the same period of time should result in higher pay for the worker. Because of greater number of units produced, it should also result in lower cost per unit for fixed factory cost and also for labor cost. Various incentive plans followed by the organizations are straight piece rate method, flat time rate method, Rowan premium bonus plan and Helse premium bonus plan. Happy learning.